What about you has changed that anyone might be able to notice? I mean, right now, parked out in the garage, you've got this beautiful blue.
And I'm feeling emotion because I had to give myself permission to do that.
Yeah.
And because
that's the price you pay. But the reward, the flip side of that, is that you're at. What about you has changed that anyone might be able to notice? I mean, right now, parked out in the garage, you've got this beautiful blue Tesla. As far as I'm concerned, that looks like about the only thing that's different from that pile of garbage, whatever it was you were driving before.
the Honda Civic.
Oh, no, it wasn't a pile. It was a good car. It lasted 50 years. But I mean, do you feel or sense within yourself any changes or different things about how you operate or the people you're with or things like that? I mean, what can you tell us about that?
I had some answers, but they left me.
That's because I got you on the Mount Everest thing, where you're always going up, up, up. There's got to be more. I mean, what's more? What more now? We've talked about how you can continue to expand your reach and your influence, but
I think one thing that I've actually kind of achieved, a philosophy that I've always believed, is I just think differently about retirement and kind of what work is all about, because a lot of people get a job that a lot of times they dislike or even hate, but they do it because it provides, right? And sometimes I talk mockingly about people that do this, and that's wrong of me to do, because they're providing a livelihood, and what they've done that I never did for a long time is they clock out at 5 and now they're home with their family.
Right. Yeah.
Where me, my brain could never turn off. I'd go home and I would still be thinking about my business. But the whole plan of working 40 years in a job that you hated, finally so that you could retire at say 65, but then your youth is gone and you don't have the desire or the ability to do some of the things that you wanted to. So I've always thought, well, if what I was doing for work was something that I enjoyed, one, I wouldn't want to quit. Why would I want to retire? Like if it's something that like in my business, I'm contributing, I'm creating, I'm innovating. Why would I turn that off? When Elon Musk turns 65, is he just going to be like, oh, I guess I'm done.
I get my pension.
Yeah, no, he's going to be innovating and leading until he's dead.
Well, what you're describing really is, I think, the not the American dream, but the human aspiration of whoever said it, Alexander Graham Bell or Einstein or somebody said, I never worked a day in my life. And yet, their body of work is, legendary. And it's because it was never work to them. They were able to discover what they were passionate about and what they were great at. And thanks to divine intervention or providence, they were able to actually work doing that. Mm-hmm. And it sounds to me like that's kind of how you're describing it is, boy, if I love what I do and I'm still able to provide it, why would I ever?
So talking about both the topic of retirement and then bucket list, like things that you eventually want to do or you want to achieve this, it's like, well, I want to find a way to be able to do those things now, not like I would have a decade or more ago where I would leverage a credit card and make foolish decisions. But, for example, we love going to Island Park, Idaho, and every time we go now, we get a vacation rental up there. And I think about buying a cabin up there, and I think about the pros and cons and whatnot, but then I think strategically, like, well, what if I could do it and have it be a business expense to own a cabin up there? What if I created a retreat center that I rented out most of the time, and then when our family wanted to use? So, I mean, that's, but there's a time and a place for things, and
that's the price you pay. But the reward, the flip side of that, is that you're at Island Park, Idaho, for a week with your family. Mm-hmm. And you're boating and you're playing and you're having fun. Just because, hey, it's daddy's mind that never turns off that allows us to do this to begin with. So if I had my druthers, yes, I prefer that way over the 40 years, 40 hours a week, but I'm home by 5 and I'm with the kids till 10. You're home, you're with them. It's just at different times. My wife has always said that about me because I've been a traveling guy, go, and I wasn't able to be there every single day. But when I'm there, I'm present. and I'm with them. And when I am not on the road, we can leave for 2 weeks if we want, if it's summer or whatever. And most dads don't get to do that necessarily. Or when I'm home M through SU, not just 5 to 10 each night. I'm there every day.
It's been a really hard shift for me to make. June was when we took that trip to DC and New York and the church history sites. And that was action-packed, and we've taken week-long trips up to Island Park, and I was able to turn off my brain and be family and just fun-focused during those times. I've been in a good habit of turning off my work brain on Sunday, kind of having that day of rest. But outside of that, it's still been really hard, and really the biggest help for me is kind of that 3-month, that 90-day retirement that I took. I've taken some steps back to where now I am putting more time in, but when I go home, I'm playing board games with my kids.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when I say go home, a lot of times I work right here, and then I drive home. But I'd go into my office at home. We'd have dinner as a family, and then so to intentionally, and like I mentioned this weekend and whatnot, just intentionally plan those things and recognize, I don't know, it's been a big shift. I think a lot of it has been programmed into my brain for productivity because it was from a place of urgency.
Yeah, right.
I had to work to be able to pay the bills. Like, we're behind, I got to get caught up, we're in debt.
And now you can allow yourself, is that so you're not finding that transition too challenging?
Yeah, I'm saying it has been challenging to kind of make the transition out of it because I've been doing it the other way for so long.
Yeah, that makes sense. Talking about those that are setting up their new businesses, let's say, an entrepreneur, right? You worked out of the home quite a bit. Was there ever a time when you said, I need to go to work, even working for yourself, I need to find office space, I need to separate work from family so that not only is my time with them more valuable feeling, but also so that they see a model of a father going to work? Mm-hmm. Did that play into your...
Yeah, there's been different experiences with that all along the years. I'll just talk about it how it is now, because I have an office at my home.
Sure.
And I have a barn door that slides, and when that door is closed, my family knows, okay, Dad's, don't disturb.
At work, yeah.
But I can hear stuff going on, and sometimes they're like, I go out to get water or whatever, and my son will say, hey, can we play a game? And it's like, when I'm in work time, I don't like saying no. I've for convenience, sometimes I'll work from home, but most of the time I'll still drive here.
Yeah.
Because I can just focus. The other side of the conversation is learning to work alone and stay on task. Because it's like, if I'm feeling tired, do I just take a nap? Do I just feel like binge watching YouTube or Netflix or something? Which,
yes,
in the past, I've done it plenty of times.
Sure,
in the past, that left me with a feeling of guilt because I'm taking time away from my family, and yet I'm just watching YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
So actually,
even though you could sort of justify, well, I'm in the YouTube business. This is research and development.
So that's actually a mindset shift that I've had to make as well, that it's actually okay to waste time. That's been such a hard thing for me to comprehend, that I can actually waste time and be okay with that I'm not, because I am successful in my business. I am dedicating myself as a dad and as a husband, and I'm just not going to be productive. I can go mountain biking, or I can just walk and not actually have it be a workout. I can just go. I just drove up to American Fork Canyon one day, just sat down on a rock and watched the water. I just sat there for an hour, and I'm feeling emotion because I had to give myself permission to do that.
Yeah.
And because if I'm going to go to the mountains, I better be sweating and breathing hard so I can, shrink my gut. I had to give myself permission to I can just sit on a rock and look at the water, and that's okay. I can waste time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't wasted.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting how as you get older, that perspective starts to change and adapt to not only your physical circumstances, but just the needs of other people around you. I think that there's certain phases of our career that we go through where it makes sense to work hard, to be gone a lot, to be burning the midnight oil. But you're at a place now where you've set up all these systems. They're reliable, they're successful, they're trainable, they're replicable, to the point where, yes, you should be able to give yourself as much as it's your business. And unless you don't trust the people that are running it, let them run it, kind of a thing. Although it's your clients, you have those relationships, you figured out a way to make that work. I would say in terms of just advice for those that are watching is to be cognizant of what you've just said, giving yourself permission to take a minute and just ponder, to be unplugged, no headphones, no reason, especially in nature.
The result of that is that's where the fruit has come, like the reward, the feeling of joy or fulfillment, or the feeling of having a loving family. Because otherwise, if I'm feeling guilty or I'm feeling the overwhelm or whatnot, that's taking the place of it. So just giving myself permission really has allowed me to enjoy all of that. I worked really hard for this. I'm not going to do stupid things with it.
That just seems fairer, just because someone has the wherewithal to become a billionaire.
The government will then control, you can't pull it out until you're this age. It's just like, I just